Hi guys. So today's session is on panel discussion, and the first topic we'll take up is women empowerment. Okay, is that clear? So guys, we'll have five panelists, and then they all will speak for one minute. They will introduce themselves as well. Then we'll take questions from the audience. Audience, you need to write down if you want to ask questions from the panelist. This will help in two ways. Rather, it has three advantages. First one is it will help the people who are the panelists to speak and the people who are asking questions to speak. It will also help the people to have the listening skills, because once you will listen to the person, then only you will be able to counter with some question or something other. Okay. Third advantage is building engagement of all the 120 people who are here. Is that clear? Because all will be engaged in one activity. Great. The first topic we're taking up for today is women empowerment need the efforts of the society as one. Okay. Start raising hand who all want to become the panelist. Whosoever wants to become the panelist, please start raising your hand. I want five panelists. Vani, Akansha, Ishita, Niharika, Sanjay. Panelists can also ask questions from each other. Rhythm. That's it. Priyanshu, I'll give you a chance in the next one. We have six panelists now. Okay. So, guys, start introducing yourself one by one in the order in which I have unmuted you. And then you will start speaking also in the same manner in which I have unmuted you. Okay. Please start introducing yourselves.
Hello everyone, my name is Vani Bansal. I'm 20 years old. I was born and raised in Delhi. I'm currently pursuing BTech in Computer Science Engineering from Bharati Vidyapeeth College of Engineering.
Okay.
Hello everyone, I'm Akansha Agrawal. I'm born and brought up in Jagdalpur, Chhattisgarh, and I'm currently pursuing my engineering BTech Computer Science from Sri Shankaracharya Technical Campus, Bhilai.
Hello everyone, my name is Ishita. I was born and brought up in Hisar, Haryana. Currently, I'm studying in class 12, pursuing humanities stream.
Can't hear you, Niharika. Come back with some other laptop. Okay, Rhythm.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Rhythm. I was born in Himachal Pradesh and brought up in New Delhi. I studied BS Physical Science with Chemistry, third year in Bhagini Veta College, Delhi University.
Okay, please switch off your screen, Rhythm. Okay, because, yeah, okay. Who is next?
Greetings, everyone. My name is Sanjay Joshi. I have been born and brought up in a small city, Pathankot, Punjab. I'm a third year student of Bachelor's of Science in Hospitality and Hotel Administration from the reputed Institute of Hotel Management, Gurdaspur.
Okay, so we'll start. We'll not wait for Niharika. As Niharika will join in, I'll unmute her and she'll start. Okay, she'll take the chance in the end. Okay, Vani, guys, I'm giving each one of you 1 minute to do your preparation. Right now, the time is 7:08 nearly. Your discussion, you will start speaking at 9:09. Is that clear to everyone? You have 1 minute to prepare. Okay. Audience, please be ready with your notepad so that you can write the questions and ask them all. Okay. Okay. If anyone of you who is ready can start. If Vani, you are ready, then you can start. Or if you want time, you can take time. Other whoever wants to start can raise hand. Vani, do you want time or you want to start?
I want to start, sir.
Okay, Vani, please go ahead.
Women empowerment, I will say, is about the voice, choice, and safety of women. In India, we stand nowhere if we start discussing on these topics. For choice, I'll say how many women in India are forced into household? How many of our moms have a choice to be a housewife? And for safety, I'll raise the point that every 15 minutes a rape is reported in our country. And I believe that it is not about education, or it is not about generation. It is all about the mindset. I myself have been told by many people, many women have to think about leaving their jobs to sustain a family. I have myself been told by many people that teaching is a better career for me to go out because it will give me time for my family. But I have a father who supports my every choice, and I have a peer who has said to me, I have been told many times that you will get placed very easily just because you are a woman, hence discrediting all of my achievements and all of my skill sets. And this is why women are underrepresented in all fields of decision making. And I will say we also need to change our adjectives, because in India it doesn't take a second to go from Nari Shakti to addressing a woman as Abla. So it is a collective effort of the society. We have to educate people. This will not work. I will say we need to change our adjectives, and we need to take a collective step as a society. Sorry.
Go ahead. No problem.
I was just appreciate what Vani has said.
Just a second, Sanjay. Vani, you want to complete?
Well, yes, sir. I had just one more line. We introduce people, we introduce children to casual sexism, and we need to drop our biases, not only for women, but also for men, like we were discussing the other day. They say, "Mard ko dard nahi hota," and they address a woman as Abla. So we need to change that, and a woman cannot do anything in this matter. This has to be done by the society. Thank you.
Okay, Akansha. You guys will go one by one, okay? Yes, Akansha, go ahead.
So can we take like the point of Vani also? Like one point, if it's common?
Yes, you can speak for 1 minute. So you can take a point if it is common with you in your mind.
So I totally agree that we need to change the mindset of our society for empowering the women. So to change the mindset, the fight must happen every day. The task for empowering women must not happen just on Women's Day.
If you have written some points, don't read from those points. Please look up straight in the camera and speak. Okay. Yes.
So the task for empowering the woman must not happen just on Women's Day. So even small attempts by all the youths every day will result into a huge change in empowering the women. So I also want to say that Indian women, whether it's of any age, whenever they are given opportunities, they have proven themselves by providing great. They have proven themselves by making contributions to the society in every field, whether it be education, whether it be literature, whether it be arts, music, sports, politics, or anywhere. So empowering women economically, socially, or in any field, even every field, is very beneficial for everyone. So for making such attempts, many political parties and everyone have come forward, and they have tried their best. Like they have put on schemes like Ujjwala scheme, Beti Bachao Beti Padhao schemes, and various other schemes. So all the actions are there is also a Sanskrit saying that all the actions are good and they result into fruitful happenings whenever women are respected and wherever women are respected. And where there is no woman happy and where the women are not respected, there's no God there. So the task can never be complete, and the development also will lag behind if the women are not involved in it. So sustainable development is also impossible without the possible contributions from women. So I just want to conclude that if we don't involve women in every field, we might not be able to progress in our future. Thank you.
Okay. So there's a lot to improve with you. I'll give you your feedback in a while. Okay. Yes. Okay.
Can I start then?
Yes, Ishita, go ahead.
Yeah. So, guys, when we listen to the term, which is women empowerment, I would say it's simple to define, but complex to execute. So the term women empowerment suggests empowering the women of the society. I think the first step, which will take us to the point, is giving them a voice, giving them the freedom, telling them that they are not less than anyone, because that's the key. Giving a person their freedom, which is according to the human rights, or which is according to the constitution, the basic need or the fundamental right of a person, still we need to ask for it. Isn't it unfair? I think so it is. Giving them freedom to decide whether they want to get married or not. Giving them freedom to decide what profession they want to choose. Giving them freedom to decide what field they want to get ahead in their life. This is women empowerment. And it will not start on a big, massive level in just one day. We need to start it as a society, as a person, ourselves, from a single step by taking it forward from our homes. Because I think women doesn't need any empowerment. They need just a voice, because they were never less than anyone. When we talk, I think so, we all say men and women are equal. My opinion is just a bit different here. Men and women were never equal because God made them different to be different in certain ways. And I think we should embrace that difference rather than putting someone down because of the differences they had. Women are different than men, and we should embrace that. That's the beauty of a man, and that's the beauty of a woman. I would say this only. Thank you.
Good. Okay. Who is next? Niharika.
Yes. So, good evening, everyone. Today, the topic proposed by the House is women empowerment. When we all hear this word, we think of empowering women. And why don't we? I'll give you an example. In Gurgaon, I'm a person who needs to change schools every 2-3 years. So definitely I need to explore a lot because it's a very important decision. There are 2 schools in Gurgaon which have actually taken some things from the Swedish schools, like wearing casual clothes. And I had to go through their dress codes. Now, one thing I noticed was that there were 38 things which girls couldn't wear. And how many things were there which boys couldn't? Can anyone guess over here? I'll tell you, 0. And then the teachers over there said that boys had no problem following the rules. Guess what? They didn't have any. Then why will they have any rules to follow? Plus, as a teenager, I've always felt like smashing patriarchy. Why? Because I've seen it happen in front of my own eyes. I'll give you the example of The Great Gatsby. Why are we still reading that book? It's about a rich white man written by a rich white man. And on top of that, they are not supporting that girl's decision. And that man is crying over the only girl he can't have. Now, why are we still reading that book? I still don't know. Adding another dimension, I would like to give a stat right now. Out of every 100 assaults, 27%. Yes, you heard me right. That's a very low percentage, but 27% of them are men. Now, many of you might think why I'm bringing this up in the topic of women empowerment. Well, I need to, because men are important as well. And I would like to just say this line that मर्द का एक सच औरत के 1000 झूठ से नीचे होता है. And this is obviously true in some cases, because 27% men who were being assaulted by their female partner, they don't even try to raise their voice. Why? Because of the stereotypes we have created. Mard ko dard nahi hota. Men don't cry. Oh, sorry. I said don't. Men can't cry. Why is that? We really need to change this. Recently on Instagram, we all have been seeing these posts about a man who had been a victim of acid attack. He is still blind. He can't see, but he forgave his wife. Why was his story not popular? Well, because he was a man. And we don't need to empower women by giving them free things. Like in Bangalore, some companies tried to do this, that they were having 50% male and 50% female population. Why are we doing this? Females have every opportunity they need. We just need to go out and grab it. If Harsh is more qualified for me for a job, he has better skill sets than me, and he doesn't get the job just because I'm a female, doesn't all of you think that it's a little bit unfair? Because now some of you might say that we need bus tickets because we have maids in our house. Well, like we have ration cards, right? We can get bus cards for that too. In conclusion, I would like to say that everyone living on earth is important. And if someone is going through a problem, we need to empower them, whether it is a male or female. But I will say that we need to empower females more, because although males have less problems, they do. But currently in India and all over the world, females have more problems that they are going through. With this, I rest my case. Thank you very much.
Okay, it swing down in the end. It was going well in the beginning, just in the last 3 lines. Okay, no problem. Rhythm,
Yes, sir.
go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. Should I introduce myself, sir? Sorry.
No.
Okay. So today, the case of women, the differentiation between men and women starts when we are probably in our 10th class. When we are choosing for our future careers, what if a woman goes for a non-medical stream and she says that she wants to go for engineering, and that to mechanical engineering? What will the parents do? No, you don't need to do that. You can go be a doctor. You can even go to the field of arts. You can even go to the field of commerce. But no, why? This is not the sector. After 12th, if any girl tries to go for mechanical engineering, not just her parents, even her neighbors say that, why do you need to go to that place that requires incredible physical work? Well, that is true, but using that as a cause for stopping a person's future isn't right. Now, apart from this, at the age in the class 10th, we see another difference, which is another difference between men and women, which is in their physical appearances. After the puberty, at the age in the 10th or 12th class, the women become self-conscious of their image. They try to hide their vital body parts, hips, chest area, etc. Why is that? Because the parts of women are considered signs for sexual desire. Why is that? Why are female body parts labeled like that? That if a woman wears revealing part, her character is downright questioned. These are some of the examples which we all see, but they are too common for us to notice that they are glaring in this society. In a parliament, in European Parliament, there was one scene that a woman was giving the speech, and behind her, a member of another parliament from the country of Poland, questioned, why are you saying this? Just go back and do your vegetables. In the whole European Parliament, a woman was questioned like this. This is why we need the society to come forward and support the women, so that, because women need respect. It is not just a case about inequality or equality. It is a case of respect. If you do not respect a person from your heart, how can you even give that person a chance to become equal? Thank you. With this, I stop saying. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no problem. You brought up good points by the end. That is good. Sanjay.
Greetings, everyone. I would say gender equality is a basic human right, and it is very important for a fundamental behavior for a peaceful and prosperous world. If I talk about the global landscape of the world, there are 100 women per 101 men. But we see that girls and women continuously face challenges in their life. They are under-respected in the role of power and decision-making. We see that women are not getting equal pay for the equal work. And if I talk about the facts, in India, around 12,000 women, 12,000 is not a small number. That is not 12,000 women, actually, that is 12,000 girls of 14 to 15 years of age are underaged married. See, We see, as Ishita and Vani in their speeches and other panelists mentioned, the schemes which has brought up by the government and the society for the development of women empowerment, but there are still a great deal left to be done. And for those people, for those optimism people who says that women are not strong, ending my speech, I will just represent a small biological fact. Those who says that women are not strong, you know, when a mother gives birth to a child, she just faces the pain of breaking her 20 bones at once. So how could you people say that woman is not strong? So we should empower the woman. We should have to change our mentality. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Well said. Okay. I hope everyone is done.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So before taking questions from the audience, I'll say a bit. Sanjay just said that when a woman gives birth to when a woman gives birth to a child, at that time she has to bear the pain, which is counted as one of the second most difficult situations to handle by any human on this earth. But that is one life incident which might happen once or twice or thrice, maximum thrice in the 21st century. What about the countless monthly periods which come in? Yeah, I just said periods. Yes, I didn't use any other scientific term not to speak the word period. I'll tell you what. It's not only the pain of the periods which are effective, it is also the mental state which they have to go through, because they know it is either by this date or this date that they will come next month. If someone comes and tell me that that is the amount of pain you'll have to bear the next month, I'll start running. Or if I'll be a kid whom I will run to, we say the men are strong, but I'll run to my mom, right? We run to our mothers. Why? The simple question. So someone just said if males were put on periods, I'll say that that is discrimination on anyone. If they are not, they are not. If we talk about something, if they were, then this, that is a fight rather than building a solution. The solution towards women empowerment is simple. We have no rights to say that they should be given rights. They have those rights, they should be returned those rights back, which we have taken from them without their permission. Because we everywhere say there should be and there is gender equality. Then if you are giving rights to someone which is given to some other gender, then that is that you have taken those rights by your own self, which we say is illegal. What we are supposed to do here is that we as individuals, whether male or female, should stop looking at fights and start looking for solutions, because males and females, when they both come to work together to build a solution for something, they will not come out as 1 + 1 2. They will come out with a synergy of 1 + 1 is equal to 11, which is actually what is needed. Because if we say India is backward in the thought process, then what someone just said about the Poland minister talking about something about a woman, I think Rhythm talked about it, which is absolutely wrong. They are born in a country where people are given an upgraded mindset, but still if they say it, it looks like a phrase to them. And when something looks like a phrase to them, those phrases need to change. And they will only change when we all will come together and make a change to it. I would also like to address one more point, taking 30 more seconds of yours if you allow. I said on Instagram a few days back that if a waiter has to bring a bill in, then they should either keep it in the middle and they should not look at a male and give it to them. A respectable woman just commented on that post, and one post which I wrote a bit earlier about rapes, that rapes are not supposed to be compared to anything. She said women also split the bill. you are discussing women empowerment, then it means that you yourself are accepting a fact that there is no women empowerment, there is no equality. According to that, all the legal systems are flawed. Why? Because in a legal system, you need to accept something to reach a solution. And if we won't accept a fact, we won't reach to a solution. We need to accept that there is no women empowerment, then only we'll be able to reach there. That's the whole point I wanted to make here, because sentences said behind the curtain or the back of education or the modern people who have the literacy, who know the literature. Sorry, I think many of these things come from Europe. And if such a case can happen there, that then what needs to change is not the education, but the goddamn mindset. Full stop. Yes. Okay. So I would open the floor for the audience to ask questions from the panelist or me. You can ask me question one by the end. You need to ask 3 questions to the panelist here. Yes. Who want to ask question from the audience? Please raise hand. Pragya Jain, please introduce yourself, give your short introduction, and then name the person whom you want to ask your question and continue with your question.
Hello everyone, my name is Pragya Jain. I was born and brought up in Navi Mumbai, Maharashtra. I am a third year student studying B Pharmacy from NCRT Sterling Institute of Pharmacy. So my question is to Ishita. She talked about that women empowerment is complex to execute. So if you have a situation like your best friend who is very like good in her skill sets and all, but she's not getting support from her family, and because of that she lose her hopes, and she continue and she decide to get married and be a housewife only. So what efforts will you take to change that mindset of her family and as well as support her to explore herself?
Thank you for the question, Pragya. It was a great question. So I think so. The point is, if it's my best friend, I think so. Every time words would not be needed to explain her what I feel about the situation, because she will know. And if it's the situation where I'll have to make them understand or make the family understand, like this is not the thing which is right to happen or something like that, so I'll put my very best to it, because there are times as I said a line that we can be voice for someone. I raise my voice not because I want to shout, just because the unheard can be heard. So I think so if I can speak for her, I can be her voice, and after a point of time her family will not be the only one who will listen, the whole world will listen. I'll be the first one clapping for her when she'll be succeeding in what she wants to do actually. Because the thing is, when we raise our voice, when we come here to express our opinions, that then the people would be able to understand actually what we feel. Like Vani mentioned the point of Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. We have various schemes like that. Like there are various government schemes like that. So I just want to add a point to it. Like what I feel when we talk about personal levels to the family, I think Beti Ko Suno is also a great point. We need to listen to her.
Okay, got it. Okay, Pragya, I think you were answered partially by her. I will add on to, okay, Harsh, you want to ask a question, right? Yes, sir. I'll add on to what Ishita just said. If any such similar situation will come across my end and I have to solve it for my friend, I, in a very simple words, will talk to her parents, men to men, okay, like one-on-one, and have a discussion with them that marriage is not wrong. If she is supposed to be married, she will be married. If the male is supposed to be married, he will be married. The point is, you're getting her married just for the sake that she's able to settle in her life. That is wrong. So when we take things as an orthodox thought process, when we want to change them, we need to move them together. We need to move them along with us, because I don't want to challenge them, because challenging the parents will not only bring in the male ego of the father, but it will also bring what is called our hair are white, or we don't have them, and yours are black, or whatever color. The point is they want to say that they have experience, right? But the experiences change, the life change, and the thought process change. That is what has to be told to them and made them understood clearly, so that they can come forward and support the girl forward in her employment, or in a job, or whatever she, or a business, or whatever she goes further in, and then get married later, which can only happen when we take them together. Because along with just giving her the permission or giving her a chance to go ahead with it by her parents, there is one more thing which is required. That is the mental peace which she requires staying in the same house, making it a home, which will only happen when they are along with her in her decision. That's my answer to complete. I hope you got your answer, Pragya.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And Ishita, I have a feedback for you. You don't take anything personally. When you're giving answer to something, you got aggressive with this answer. So you don't have to do that. You have to control your emotions and answer that on a normal end. Okay. Which could be very clearly seen by me. Okay. Yes. Harsh.
Hello everyone, I'm Harsh Kejriwal, born and brought up in Kolkata, West Bengal. Currently, I'm pursuing BBA from Jain University, Bangalore. So my question goes to Niharika. I want to give you a situation basically, like if you were the PM of India, how would you reach the rural areas where basic electricity does not reach it? How would you educate the women out there?
I just unmuted her. Can you?
Okay, so
yeah.
If I was the PM of India, see Harsh, there are many ways of spreading awareness. I'll give you an example. For example, in some places in Rajasthan, there is a village and there is only one voter over there. But still the government of India makes effort to get at least that one vote also, right? So like that way only, we can send not men. I would prefer some women who are educated about this and they are qualified enough to spread awareness, and then I would send them to rural areas. And if, as Praful sir said, man-to-man talk is like something else, so we can send men too to talk to the men, to give them awareness that even women are important and they need some rights. They do, because as we have all seen that if they don't get their rights, see, they will protest. And a girl's voice, if they protest, I don't know that all of us actually know what will happen. So I hope that answers your question.
Okay. No. I'll tell you, you need to work on giving answers, Niharika. So
Okay.
I'll tell you what, guys, know this. This is for everyone, because Ishita made the same mistake, and this is what is important. I'll tell you what, why I make you do this phase 2 kind of panel discussion, because when we are on stage and we are doing the panel discussion, why people look forward to the way we talk and we answer is because we have control over our brain. If I'm sitting on a stage and giving answer, I have control. So if a question is asked extempore to you, you're good at speaking, Niharika, but you just saw that you just got clean bold at your answer. The other people's face was showing that as well. How many of you agree to what I'm saying right now? That while she was answering, she was looking lost completely, or she herself knows that she was lost. But I'll tell you why. Because you're not trained to think from your brain at the back while you're speaking from your mouth. That is what we do. So that sudden, you have seen that many times when I speak, I don't know. Even right now when I was speaking on women empowerment, I did not know a single word. I did not know what I'll speak. I just had a thought and I started. Right? Same way with you, Niharika. So when he said something, you don't have a chance to take a pause. Neither can you ask me for a pause. As you start, you could have said, if I'll be the Prime Minister of India, you could have cracked a joke. I don't see that happening because that's not in my plans, right? You got that 2 lines as a time to think from behind. What do you want to speak, right? If you have that level of concentration. Now people say we need meditation to do that. You need practice. And that is why we have these 365 days for practice, which sometimes we fail to understand. That things can be taught in 7 days, and I bang on come forward and say, no, they cannot. So here's a right example in front of you. You cannot learn in 7 days because the training which has to come in from the back of your mind to speak will not come in 7 days. You are a very good speaker. Yes, I completely accept that. But extempo speaking is a difficult job. Okay. And while answering, have some control again on your emotions as well. You looked lost. You could have done that. I was also feeling like ye kuch bolegi. She will try to run it up. But okay, I felt that you gave up by the end, right? You were trying to stretch.
That's the reason I mess up my conclusions. Like about 90% of the times I've spoken since 8th grade, I messed up my conclusions because at the end I don't have many points.
I'll tell you why. Have you seen the way I conclude? Have you noticed something? Do you try to notice something? Niharika, I'm asking you. Have you tried to notice something? अच्छा जब आपको conclude करना
You
सीखना
connect your first line to your like last line or something.
That is obvious. Yes, I connect. That is what I teach you all as well. That connect your first line to your last line. Have you noticed something else? Like because you want to learn speaking, right? You want to learn how to conclude, how to speak with things which make sense and have good content and a way of communication as well. Connect with the audience. And when you fail at the conclusion, that is what the audience will take back with them, right? So आपने कभी ऐसा कोशिश नहीं करा, अगली बार कोशिश करना, that you notice what I'm doing, right? I'll tell you what I do. I try to rhyme in the end, and you will not feel that I'm gonna end, and I'll end it with one line which will make sense to you. I'll just end it with one line, right? जैसे अभी मेरे को याद भी नहीं है. I don't even remember what I just said. You can see in the recording of this session what I just said. I just ended the last. You can take example from there. The women empowerment thing also with one line, not a kind of a muhavara phrase or something, but was just a simple word which I was trying to connect with a particular dot. You know that here he'll put that dot. That is important. Got it? And never stretch. When you will stretch, you will find yourself in a messy situation which just happened. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Good. Yes. Good question, Harsh. He tried to put you in a very difficult situation. Niharika, remember this. Next time you have to take this badla from him, right? Yes. Some difficult question coming his way. Okay. Next question is coming to whom and by whom? Heer wants to ask a question. Yes, Heer. I'm sorry, guys. I could not see on the second screen. I could see many.
Hello, I'm Heer Makija, born and brought up in Mumbai. I'm currently pursuing BMS from HR College of Commerce and Economics. So my question goes to Sanjay Joshi.
Okay.
You put aspects on certain points where women are strong, as you told, but you also mentioned that, women empowerment is still lacking in today's world. So it is not completely bleak, right? Like it has taken place. So could you please elaborate on some certain places where women empowerment has taken place?
Sure. What is your good name? I just forgot.
Heer Makija.
Hi. So I would just like to answer, women has empowered in many parts of the country. As we recently see in India, the women are allowed today. Do you know that? In India, in military forces, that women have been allowed. So the government is just improvising the women, but there is still a difference in the mentality of the people in the society, because it was a male dominating society, but people just judge women on the part of gender. So I think that this should not be done in our society. A gender should not be the cause to be just judged for a work or for anything. If you see in the corporate sector, the women are paid less as compared to the men for the same jobs. So, but now with the time, the government has been increasing, government has been empowering the women. Government has also started the self-help groups for the women in the villages, where government just pays them, send them money in advance, and the women are just doing very good as they are doing the artist things. So yes, so government is improvising the women. So yes, but it is still not at the pace which it should be in the 21st century. So I hope that I have answered your question.
But how it hasn't taken place? Like, could you elaborate on certain aspects of what your mom or maybe some certain relatives have experienced that it has taken place? Like there is no gender inequality that women are facing. Are you sure that they are still facing? Like,
in some parts, if I say not in the urban area nowadays, if I talk about the village areas, there is a mentality still that girls should not study, a girl should not go out at late. So a girl should be married at earlier, as I mentioned in my earlier speech also. So there are some this kind of mentality which is still in our nation, in some of the other nations also. So yes, there is something, a mentality which should be changed, which is still left in our nation and in other nations as well.
Okay, I'll continue answering. I'll help Sanjay.
Sure,
Okay, everyone on mute except here. Everyone on mute except here, because I'm answering her. After this, the next question will come to me. That will be the last question coming to me. Okay, so here, no, you're not allowed to go out for the night party. The male counterpart is. You want to take a job, take it in the same city. You cannot go out. You cannot go to Bangalore to work. Conditions which are not good. I just said, yes, I now remember what I said in my speech. I said that what we need is not the rules, but the mindset. I ended it on the mindset word while I was speaking. That is what I want to connect with you here. Yes, I know that there are concerns of the parents, of the people, but it is not the women's fault that she can't go out in the night, right? So if it is not her fault, then why should she pay the fee for the same? We should pay the fee. Okay, she has no problem in sending you the live location. Now, live location is not a problem because of the safety reason. You stay awake and see the location. It's not her mistake. She can't be out. That's the simple thing I want to say. That's what I said. You need to look for the solutions rather than just looking at the closures of the demands they have, which should rather not be the demands. They should be the rights which they should have. Got it? Here. Okay. Now, anyone who want to ask me a question, please raise your hand. Harsh has one question. Itesh has one question. Sana has one question. Nisha also has one question. So should we do Akkad Bakkad Bambe Bo, or should we give chance to Itesh because he has not got it from a long time? Itesh.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah.
My name is Itesh Gupta. I was born in Delhi and brought up in Ambala. I'm currently studying class 12, pursuing non-medical. Sir, my question to you is, you said we have to change the mindset. The problem is the mindset of the people. Actually, the mindset is coming from, continuing from centuries. Means the history of India, there also the women empowerment was not there. Women were not allowed to go out of work in time when kings were also there. So how you are trying to change this mindset at your end? Because it's not only you have to change the mindset of the Gen Z. You should do something to change the mindset of the old generations also, who are born in 90s or before that.
Okay.
What can you do to change their mindset?
The last generation, our parents. Yes. Okay, got your question, Itesh. Thank you. Good question. I'll put answer to it. The king used to have a whole palace for all the ladies who used to stay there, who were his wives, right? He had 100 wives, 200 wives, 300 wives. Today, a male has one. We have come a long way to provide equal rights. You can have one and I can have one. If you can have two, I can also have two, or rather you get off. I can't change myself for you. I hope you're understanding where there's a king's answer which I just gave. Now, when we say that we need to answer, we need to teach our parents, you are absolutely right there. And the point is, if I go and teach the parents of each one of you, it will be like a speech given by a motivational speaker, which will be impactful for day one and will be zero on the next day. What I'm trying to do, what we should try to do, is change the mindset of the men and the women sitting here so that they can pass on the same message to their families. Now the question comes in that they won't understand it in less time. They won't understand it in 2 days, 3 days, or 2 months or 3 months. Because when we need, let's say, 1800 hours to practice, or what 1800 hours, or what do we say, to practice something, so that we can put that we are experts in that. The point is, they have put in their, at least all our parents might be 45, right? If I'm not wrong, 45 to 50 ke beech mein. They have put in 45 years into something. You need at least 4.5 to clear it off, with 10 times efforts each day to what they have put in. If you calculate the maths, you will reach the same number, right? What I'm trying to say is, what we can do is we can put in our own efforts as individuals to talk to our own parents so that they can change. And I'll tell you where the change will come in. The change will come in the maturity of an individual. I'll tell you one simple example. I'm born in a family where we over time have changed the thought process of everyone completely. My sister wanted to go for TCS. She wanted to work in Noida, and my parents and I were fighting to send her to Bangalore, because the option, I won't say she was lucky, she worked hard, that the option lied in her hand to decide whether she will take the Bangalore campus, Pune campus, or the Noida campus. She said that I want to stay close to my family and I want to take Noida. I said, go and explore and take Bangalore or Pune so that you can stay away and see the world out there. My parents understood. They were also fighting thereafter. That, okay, if he's saying, maybe there's a possibility, because I said that I take up the responsibility, then no problem will be there. How many of you are ready to take the responsibility of your younger sibling? How many of your brothers or sisters are ready to take the responsibility of you? That is the question. And that is what will convince the parents of all of us. Yes, putting up a fight to change the mindset of your grandparents is something I won't like to put you in, because I'm sorry to say this, guys, but we have to accept a life fact. There's a life cycle. You might take 4.5 years, 10 years to set their thought process. If your parents are 45, then your grandparents might be in their 75, 80s, like 70s or 80s. I don't think so, though. It will be worth it to change their mindset right now. Change that of your parents. First, change that of yours. Yes, I meant what I said. I know it has not changed completely. There are still scope for improvement. I'll put an end to the discussion here. Thank you, everyone. Okay, so we will put the end to the panel discussion. I'll give few feedbacks to the people who did the panel discussion. Okay, now I'll go one by one. Rhythm, there were many fumbles, okay, and you know that. When you said I have to introduce, you knew that you already introduced yourself. So that situation became embarrassing, if I'm not wrong. And that gave you a very like a place where you were not confident enough, you're not comfortable enough, because right from the start you're not the same. And plus, I've taught you one thing, I'm trying to teach you from last 1 year, and I don't know from how long you're here. Don't recite. That reciting thing comes from the very beginning when you speak. Okay, try to work on that. You need to work on that. Okay, Niharika, you did well. By last 2 lines went wrong. I just gave you that feedback already. Ishita, you stretch things a lot. I'll tell you what, if you learn one thing, you speak the pointer right. The problem is you always add up 2 lines to it. If you will leave it the place it is, understand one thing, if I have to come straight, people are intelligent. What you're trying to say, they will understand. You don't need to add on 2 more lines to make them clear. That leaves that just puts an end to the whole thing. Yeah, Akansha, you need to stop looking down when you're speaking. and you were trying to play with your hair, you were bringing them here, taking them back, nothing. Look straight in the camera while you speak. Okay. First, improve this. There are many more things which need to be improved. Vani, good, no expressions. That is very bad. Okay, very, very bad. Because I'm telling you from a long time and that has to change. Sanjay, your shoulders are down. I don't know why. And they were down completely while you do. Oh, okay. Give some space to your elbow. Move them out. Don't touch them from your body. They should not touch your sides. They should not touch your sides. Have you ever seen me sitting like this?
Yes, sir.
They should never touch your sides. Your hands should not touch your side in any manner. Okay, Sanjay, your screen is off. Yep. Okay, I hope you got it. Apart from that, you speak well. No other improvement for you. While you were, I think you were giving answer to someone. Yeah.
Yes, key to keep.
No, not good. Not good. Again, you guys have to work on your answers. Except for answers have to come well, because I'll tell you what, all of you are making this mistake. You're taking it personal. You don't have to do that ever. Is that clear? Okay.
Yes, sir.
What else is left? Yeah, Niharika, I gave you the feedback. You want to ask something? Yeah, tell me.
Okay, sir, you said ki like questions ko personal mat lo, but West Delhi ki sir, if you've seen like some debates, wahan pe literally people come and roast you. They're saying things like your debate was like a donut. It was on the outside, it was good because you got to use good vocabulary, but it was hollow in the inside. You had no points.
I'll tell you what. Are you there to prove to those people, or you're there to prove to that one person who's sitting calmly and noticing your body language and the way you communicate? That is the point. I understand. So when a question comes to you, you need to take it calmly, because I'll tell you what irritates a person more. When a person comes to me and say, na, Praful, yaar, you're lucky. Got it too early. I say yes. You blessed to be the same. I say it so calmly, because when you answer a person who is very aggressive, in an aggressive manner, that's a tit for tat. When a person is aggressive and is saying something to you which is more than a compliment, is a comment to you, okay, and you answer them back very calmly, I'll tell you what, it burns them down. It burns them down. When you don't react, it burns them down. And once you will do that, I'll tell you the second time will not be required. And if the second time is required, I'll complete my answer. If the second time is required, those people are not worth your time. Not that competition is. If they come back and say something again, after getting that their respect being added by a prefix of disrespect, of dis, then the point is they are not worth your time, because they don't have any. I just said that once you disrespect them by not disrespecting them, indiscipline, by just giving a calm answer, that disrespect them in a manner, you are given a very bold answer in that manner. I hope you understand it. You say something to someone aggressively and you get a very calm answer. That person is gone, right? What next has to be followed is, if they come back with the same aggression and same question to you, don't answer.
Okay.
Got it?
Yes.
You are growing right now. You will understand this in a while. Right now, what is important for you is that circle gold medal, which might be put on stake by you not giving aggressive answer. But I'll tell you, that gold medal is not what you want by the time you are mature enough to know what you want. I said something which you need to absorb.
Yes, I know, because like I am a very competitive person.
I know that.
It really burns me when someone says this, and I just give comebacks at them that, okay, I can't check my work because you said I'm hollow.
If someone comes to you and say your debate is like donut, which is full of vocabulary from the outside but hollow from the inside, I would have just said, no matter what, it's worth 1,000 crores of industry. He's talking about donuts, right? You give an answer back to him. Simple. His point of view is not important. That of the interviewer is important. And if by chance I give this answer to him, it's worth 1,000 crores of industry. The interviewer is yours. The judge is yours, not his. or her. Got it? Learn this. Learn this. So whenever, guys, what I'm trying to tell you is, and to everyone here, whenever some such situation happens with you, because this you are right now talking about debates, competition, etc. You know where it will happen? Where you are sitting in a conference. That is what I'm preparing you for. You are sitting in one company, you got a job, you are fighting for promotion, you are in a conference room, you are about to give an answer, you said something which actually makes sense. And someone comes with a stupid point and asks you that. Can you give them aggressive answer? No, you cannot. They are your boss. No matter how many leader sessions they give you, they are your boss. You give them a calm answer or a calm slap so that they understand what you're saying is right. If you are right. That is what I have to prepare you for. That is why I'm saying that don't take it personally. Now I hope you're able to relate it. No, so
yeah.
If I am a person who is a very competitive person, I'm also a very competitive person. Do you think that if I'll go in a meeting, I can give this answers? No, I cannot. I cannot. I'll not get the contract. What is my aggression worth then? What is my competition worth then?
Nothing.
That's the answer. You gave it yourself. Got it. Thank you, everyone. See you guys tomorrow with another session.